Let's return now to that Indo-Pacific region. You mentioned a more sort of China.
Yeah.
Is there a chance that maybe countries in that region see these nuclear submarines and say, hey, I want one too now?
Not just a chance, it's highly likely because think of the logic in it. You all of a sudden see the U.S. Breaking a precedent that stretches back more than half a century of sharing nuclear technology, enrichment technology, with a non-proliferating state, with another state that doesn't have nuclear power, i.e. Australia. The last time it did this was with Britain in 1958. So we're going back well over half a century here. And it's doing it in the name of what it sees as a vital national interest with the threat of China. So other countries, you can imagine them raising their hand in the region immediately and saying, why not us as well? South Korea is a country right now where obviously up against the North Korean nuclear proliferation threat, and that assertiveness by its northern neighbor has been under debate. Should we put more emphasis? Should we develop nuclear weapons now, either with our own national homemade capacity or by bringing in perhaps American nuclear technology, the same thing they're doing with Australia? And you could ask, well, why shouldn't South Korea put its arm up and say, hey, what about here? Us too, us too. Japan's another country where you might say they might want to get a little bit of the action here. So it does raise a lot of questions about nuclear non-proliferation. And then a topic for another day, obviously, Iran, right? At the time where everyone's trying to check Iran's supposed alleged nuclear ambitions, Iran, they might say this is complete hypocrisy, right? Double standards here. Here you are sharing your nuclear technology with a country perceived as friendly, an ally, Australia, and Iran, meanwhile, is subject to all sorts of sanctions and name calling and whatnot when it is essentially has similar ambitions, you might say, to Australia. It says it wants to use nuclear for peaceful purposes. And let me just remind people that these nuclear submarines, they're not nuclear missile. They're not armed with nuclear equipped missiles. They're going to carry conventional Tomahawk missiles. The only thing nuclear about the submarines being supplied to Australia under this contract are that they are propelled by nuclear energy. So a lot of questions raised, but yes, it opens the Pandora's box of nuclear non-proliferation at a time when nuclear issues are more than ever, especially with the environmental concerns factored in, a very big issue across the world.
All right. Thank you very much, Doug. Douglas Herbert, our international affairs commentator.